It's George Plimpton who served up the small ball theory when it comes to sports and literature. Namely, the smaller the ball, the better the book. There are entire libraries of great baseball books. There are not many great football books. Well, that in mind, consider that a tennis ball is smaller than a baseball. Here are 5 tennis books to get you going. String Theory by David Foster Wallace. The author, who died in 2008, might be best known in tennis circles for his glowing profile of Roger Federer. But it was far from the only time he wrote about tennis, as evidenced by this collection. Courts of Babylon by Peter Boda. Tennis doesn't always come off so well in this book of essays from the 70s, 80s, and 90s, covering everyone from Chris and Martina to, in my favorite piece, a reflection of Bjorn Borg's comeback. 3. A Handful of Summers by Gordon Forbes. A South African player in the 50s and 60s, Forbes wrote this memoir, often very funny, about the characters barnstorming the world with a racket before the Open era. 4. Open. Andre Agassi's book, co-written with J.R. Moringer, is the standard bearer for the sports memoir. Honest, profound, and often witheringly self-critical. 5. Levels of the Game. John McPhee uses a match at Forest Hills between Arthur Ashe and Clark Graebner to discuss everything from the players and their background to the economics of tennis to the mechanics of hitting a ball. Later, other tennis writers would try and emulate this. That ought to carve into your free time.
And to that, I would add L. John Wertheim's book, Strokes of Genius, as well as Paul Annacone's Coaching for Life. What do you think, Jan Mike?
I think those are all good choices. I like the book by Brad Gilbert. I like Winning Ugly. It's kind of a book that really stuck out for me because of a few reasons. He figured out ways to win that, maybe weren't the prettiest ways to win. His game was unusual, but he made his opponents uncomfortable. And I think that being one-dimensional is the least favorite thing you could possibly be on the court. You want to have some plan Bs, plan C. Brad Gilbert, I think, had like plan Z all the way down there. But he was giving his, also as a coach, I think he gave the players that he coached a lot of different kinds of options and ways to play against his opponents. So I think that it's not always winning ugly, but giving yourself other ways to win and seeing the game better. So I think that's a great book there. That's
a fantastic read. What about you, Lindsay?
Well, I'm not a huge reader. So I used to be 4 kids, and now I don't read at all. I remember reading an article back when Pete Carroll was the football coach at USC about how he used this book, The Inner Game of Tennis, to help his players. Mm-hmm. And I was fascinated by that because rarely do you see tennis go over to other sports. I read it, and it was amazing. It was really about being mentally strong and mentally also patient, and there's some of the process-oriented part of it, and it was a really great book for athletes.
That's the first tennis book I ever read. Really? I still have a paperback copy in my house. It's torn to shreds by now, but yeah.
What was your favorite part of it?
Well, just learning at a young age that tennis was 90% mental. Because like when you're 8 or 9 years old, you think, oh, this is physical, I need to do this or that. But like 90% of the game was up here, according to that book.
Actually, I read that book as well. It's one of the few that I did read, and it is helpful to kind of just realize that. And a coach that I had kind of forced me to read it, and I was like, all right, I don't want to read this book. I just want to hit tennis balls on the court. But it helped.
Yeah. Well, we encourage you all to do some more, and Lindsay, more summer reading.
Yep. And hold on, summer's almost over.
Right. So get it in.
Reading. What do we have?
You might have more time.
11 more days.
I would also add James Blake's Breaking Back to the list. Yep. It's a good one.